Donnarumma to Man City. What is going on? One of the most surprising transfers of the window, no question about it. One of the best goalkeepers joining the Premier League. We're going to talk in this video how Donnarumma will fit in at Manchester City if it's a good deal. And of course, take a look at the goalkeeper department at the club. Ederson leaving, James Trafford's just been brought in, and Ortega might still be at the club as well as third choice. We are going to break down if it's a good deal. Donnarumma, make sure you subscribe and leave your comments down below about Donnarumma joining Manchester City. Let's be completely real. Donnarumma, whether you think he's good with his feet, fits Pep Guardiola's system, good in the air, he is top 5 goalkeepers in the world. As a shot stopper, he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I'd say for a majority of football fans, maybe put in Courtois. I think Alisson's a better keeper than Donnarumma overall with his distribution, with his leadership, how he can come in the air and catch things. But ultimately, as a pure shot stopper, I think Donnarumma is the best shot stopper in world football. Some of the angles of the saves that he makes, particularly in that Champions League run last season, they were fundamental for PSG winning their first ever Champions League. The first Champions League ever brought to that football club because of Donnarumma's brilliance, particularly against Aston Villa, particularly against Arsenal. So whatever you say, he is an elite level goalkeeper, a generational talent. He really is. Now for 35 million euros, if I told you any club were going to sign Donnarumma for 35 million euros, and then you can half it because the keeper at the club is leaving for about 14 million euros to either Fenerbahce or Galatasaray. So basically a net signing of about 15 to 20 million euros for Donnarumma, 26 years old, just won the Champions League with PSG. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It really is. In a traditional view of football, Donnarumma comes in and he's probably the best keeper in the league alongside David Raya. Well, he's definitely better than David Raya. And we can debate Alisson because he's way better with his feet, Alisson. We can debate that until the cows come home. Ultimately, the question marks will be about Donnarumma if he fits the system at Guardiola's Manchester City. And that will be a big debate that I'm going to have in this video. But ultimately, an overview of the transfer has to be, for £35 million, you half it because Ederson's going. Then actually that is an unbelievable bit of value in the transfer market. We're talking top 5 goalkeepers in the world. That's my first opinion on it. My second opinion has to be that if we say that the Premier League title is over for Man City, which is a crazy thing to say, back-to-back losses, hopefully something can change in the Manchester derby coming around the corner as well. If we say Man City aren't suited right now to winning the Premier League, maybe Man City are a cup side. Maybe Man City are trying to win the Champions League this season. I'm not saying it's easy. Nowhere near close to the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, the likes of PSG, Real Madrid, of course not. But what if Pep Guardiola is just going back to a traditional view of football, being a cup side, trying to win the Champions League, and going out with a bit of a bang? Seeing what Liverpool are doing with Isaac, seeing what Arsenal are doing with a very, very robust, exciting squad that are going to try and push Liverpool as far as they can. Maybe Donnarumma is a short-term, relatively short-term for Guardiola, that is, keeper just to get you through the cup competitions, just to be a Champions League goalkeeper, to try and win the Champions League. That's just my opinion. It looks like a bit of a cup signing, which is crazy, and we can debate if that's right or not. Donnarumma, 26 years old. He could be Man City keeper for the next 10 years. My traditional view of football, I should have been born in the 1970s, because if this deal was done in 1997, for example, we are waxing lyrical about this as a transfer. We get too caught up about the footwork and the system and keepers having to be a sweeper keeper. Donnarumma is great at making saves. Maybe that's all Man City need right now. Again, I've talked about the Champions League. The goalkeeping that we see from Donnarumma for the last 5 to 6 years is of the highest order. His goalkeeping against England in 2021 in the final was incredible. This is an Italy side that don't even get to World Cups anymore, that still won a trophy on foreign soil at Wembley against England. And you could argue Donnarumma, who was player of the tournament, by the way, completely stopped England doing anything at Wembley after going 1-0 up. That was down to Donnarumma's brilliance. I talked about the Champions League win for PSG. The performance against Arsenal in Paris was absolutely sensational. Odegaard's hit a ball from 25 yards out. I don't know how he's got down to it. It is outstanding goalkeeping. I think at the Emirates as well, Trossard, very, very tight angle. I don't know how he's got down that low. He must be about 6'7" inches. And he's making outrageous saves. He really, really is. He's a goalkeeper of the highest caliber. He really is in that department. Against Aston Villa, against Rashford, he made an outstanding save that just kind of bounced off the crossbar, I think it was. I mean, we're talking about some of the best goalkeeping you're ever going to see in European football right now. The issue will be about his feet. The issue will be about the back line for Manchester City. But this Man City back line's got bigger issues than Donnarumma. Let's be completely real. The protection of the back four in terms of the midfield needs to be addressed in a big way. Is it Nico Gonzalez? Is it Rodri? Is it Rodri with Reinders? What's going on in terms of the goal that City conceded to go 2-1 down to Brighton? That wasn't down to if Donnarumma's good with his feet, or Ederson, or Ortega, or James Trafford. It wasn't. It was down to the brilliance of Brighton being able to tear through the Manchester City back line. There are far bigger issues in the Man City back line than Donnarumma. If that can be sorted, Guardiola comes back, the right back situation gets completely sorted. I think put Kuznov right back, Stones, Diaz, Guardiola, that looks a lot sharper. Rodri plays a lot more football. Maybe you don't need Donnarumma to be outstanding with his feet. Let's be real. James Trafford has come in. He's not the best in terms of his feet either. So if you just take the view that City have lost the distribution of Ederson, that's gone, whether you like it or not. Why not go back to a traditional sense of football and just have an Edwin van der Sar-like goalkeeper that's just an unbelievable shot stopper? That's who he reminds me of, Donnarumma. That kind of traditional, lanky, huge goalkeeper that is a dominating presence in the box. Maybe that's what Man City need. A little bit of star power. Someone that can pull you out of a situation, that can pull off a world-class save. It hasn't felt like it's coming for many, many years. That Schmeichel-esque, Peter Cech-esque save, it hasn't been coming. And that's down to the brilliance of the back line from Man City, the brilliance of Rodri in the last 3 or 4 years, that we've not needed a keeper to do that. And then Ederson throws in assists, the most assists of any goalkeeper in the history of the Premier League. But now we're going back to a traditional sense of football maybe at Man City, where you play the simple pass into the centre-back. The playing out from the back is a little bit overdone maybe. Maybe you play a little bit more direct into Haaland, a little bit more direct into other players in that midfield, and you bypass what Ederson brought you. It's a sad day if you're a Man City fan, because Ederson was unbelievable with his feet. But we have to move past it now. We have to move past. We're going back to a traditional keeper. I think as City fans, we have to say, it's amazing. It's exciting. It's exciting. He's one of the best keepers in the world. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'd rather have Robert Sanchez because he can play out with his feet. Come on, have a day off. Have a day off. I have to talk about Ederson. Most assists in the history of the Premier League. I've seen him give an assist live in the stadium multiple times. I mean, it's crazy saying that as a football fan. 6 league titles, a treble, the Champions League. Unbelievable against Lukaku in the final few minutes against Inter Milan. Ederson goes down as maybe top 5 keepers in the history of the Premier League. He's not ahead of Peter Cech. He's not ahead of Van der Sar or Schmeichel. He's in that discussion just outside of that. There's no question in my mind. And he leaves for Fenerbahce. I'll wrap up the video by saying this. I think there's a world where if I could have completely my own way of thinking, I'd just keep Ederson. But if Ederson's definitely going, why not just bring in Donnarumma? I'd rather have Donnarumma for the next 38 games than James Trafford, with all due respect. James Trafford needs a lot of development to be at the highest level needed for Guardiola football. At least Donnarumma comes in and pulls off world-class 10 out of 10 saves every single week, whether you think he's good with his feet or not. Being good with your feet for City at the moment is actually the least of our concerns. The centre-back issues, the right-back issues, the midfield issues. I think Haaland has got to improve. I think Savinho, Doku, Oscar Bob, Phil Foden's involvement. I think there are 5 or 6 more fundamental issues. And if Donnarumma's good with his feet, and then he brings a level of goalkeeping that Ederson didn't quite bring last season. Ederson cost us arguably in the Champions League last season against Real Madrid. Donnarumma wouldn't have made those mistakes. Let's be completely real, where Rodrigo scores that little tap-in. Come on. I think this is a very, very good deal. I'm hoping so, from purely selfish reasons. Do you agree or not? Let me know in the comments down below. And what do you think about Ederson? I'm very keen to see what you think about one of the most successful goalkeepers in the history of the Premier League. Maybe underrated. Who knows? Leave a comment down below. I'll see you very, very soon.